Hello and welcome to the Q&A with Xtinemay 2020 edition.
Who's next?
What's the first thing you want to do when all this craziness is over? There's so many things I want to do. It's so hard to just pick one. I want to travel. I want to go back to Europe, but like more basically, I want to go to a restaurant and eat there. I want to go back to yoga. I miss hot yoga so much. What is something similar to the Throne of Glass series that you would recommend? Have you read the Luna Chronicles by Marissa Meyer? A Curse of Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kammer? The Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare and everything else that Cassandra Clare has ever written. Do you bullet journal on a regular basis? I obsessively make lists on a regular basis. Does that count? I feel like lists are bullet journaling. Like, I do to-do lists, movies I've watched lists, books I've read lists, TVs I watched lists, comedy special lists, and you need to buy lists, videos to film lists. Sometimes I just do random journal entries like this one here. Survivor Seasons list. Taylor Swift song to describe young Xtinemay and current Xtinemay. Young Xtinemay.
I just wanna show you, she don't even know you.
Current Xtinemay.
Take me to the lakes where all the poets went to die. I don't belong.
Fancast Kat, Jessie, and Natasha as book characters. Jessie as Christopher Lightwood. Catty-tastic as Lucy Herondale. And Natasha of Tashopolis as Cecily Herondale. We're going with an Infernal Devices theme. Do you film your videos twice? I've always been curious about the two setups in your vids. So obviously this doesn't happen all the time. Like I don't always have two setups. When I do, it's because I filmed again because I felt like I was either missing talking points, I wasn't speaking fluidly enough, I just didn't like the way it felt tone-wise. Like if I'm not happy with a video, I will film it again. Can you pick a book for every song on Folklore like you did for Reputation? So back a couple Q&As ago, I took on this question for Reputation.
Are you ready for it?
Folklore is a completely different album for me. It's almost too cohesive for me to put a separate book for every song. I honestly see this as one big story. And it also feels so personal in a way that the other ones haven't because it's so sad. Like it's all so sad and I don't read books that are so sad. I don't know, I tried, I sat down and tried and I can tell you the ones I have and they're not funny. Like all the ones for Reputation were funny and I'm just like, this would be depressing to do. I can't do this one because I'm almost too emotionally invested in it to separate myself and bring it to comedy. It's so hard to even think in that direction for this. For the one, I have Again But Better, and that's what I think about when I listen to the song. I feel like it goes so well. Epic Reads did this really cool Lover list and a book for every song on Lover, and Again But Better was I Forgot That You Existed, and I honestly, like, I was so excited to be a part of that, and it was so cool, but I don't understand how that goes with Again But Better. I don't get it at all. Who did she forget existed? Melvin? I love to hear if someone has an interpretation. That just goes to show how subjective music and books are. It's all in your head and how you see the story and how you see the song connecting. For the one, I see it coming in like halfway through the book. Invisible Strings, I associate in a way with Better Together. Hoax! When I thought of Hoax, I was like, New Moon. Nobody asked me to do this for Lover, but I could have done it for Lover. Have you played Among Us? No, I don't like play things. I play board games and I play like Nintendo 64. How do you keep up with everything going on in the world? Write your own stories and also read thoroughly enough to do reviews. Twitter, the New York Times, AOL News, Yahoo News, like they all just come up on my phone. So if I don't see it on Twitter, I see it on those news things. I've been listening to Pod Save America this year. I watch all of the late night monologues. That's become a thing I've been doing in 2020 because sometimes it's too depressing to read the news. So it's more fun to watch the monologues. So like The Daily Show, I watch Kimmel's monologue, I watch Seth Meyers, I watch James Corden's monologue, Stephen Colbert, like I'll do a suite. When I'm sitting down and I'm having lunch or something, if I'm gonna be working, instead of watching a TV show, I will turn on a monologue, get caught up on the news, maybe laugh, and I won't feel compelled to sit there forever and finish the show I'm watching. I'll get right back up and go back to work. The only way I've been reading during these crazy times is audiobooks. Audiobooks are a great tool that you can really take advantage of when you're feeling too anxious to sit and read a book. I don't think I'm reading as thoroughly as I used to because I'm not doing book talks. And I've been doing my review based off of like what I remember, what sticks out to me. I've done this for so long. I've been doing this for 10 years now. Like that's really crazy to think. My brain naturally will start to pick out different things that I like and dislike as I read that I want to talk about in a review. What was the first book you ever read? I remember so vividly the first book that I ever got at a bookstore to read. I came home after we had read a book in school and I had like read it. I was so proud and so excited and I was like, Mom, we have to go to the bookstore. There are books I can read and we need to get them. She took me to the bookstore. Thank you, Mother. And I remember remember walking up to this stand of books that were like, had the grade levels on them, and I knew I could read grade level 1 books. I got one that had the number 1 on it, and it was called The Fox on the Box. I just remember being so proud and so excited, and I took it home and I read that book out loud. I remember thinking, like, after I read all the level 1 books, I could read all the level 2 books to level 3. Like, I just thought like reading was a level thing at that point. I want to try to get into Survivor. Which season is the best? Okay, we're doing this. I have a notebook. I have all the seasons written down. I'm going to tell you which seasons to watch. There's going to be a lot, but just trust me, it goes very fast and you're going to love it. Just write them down. Are you ready? Do you have a pen? Pause and get a pen. Survivor is only the most amazing reality show of all time. It has everything you'll ever want in anything. It's been my favorite television show since I was 10 years old. Here we go. You're gonna wanna watch season 2, season 3, season 7. Season 7 is very important. Season 8 is extremely important. Then you need to watch season 13. Must watch season 13. Season 16, phenomenal. Have to watch season 16. And you gotta watch 19 and then 20. 20 is the best season of all time, but you can't appreciate it without watching the other seasons that I've mentioned, okay? Then you gotta watch season 22, unless you hate Boston Rob, but I still think you should watch season 22. Season 26, which is absolutely excellent. Then season 27, season 28 is phenomenal. Season 31 is amazing. Don't miss any of these seasons, you guys. Season 32, season 33 is phenomenal. Millennials vs. Gen X, oh my gosh. Season 34, then jump to 37, 38, and then you can jump to 40. Fan-fucking-tabulous. Those are the highlights. Like, you might just want to watch all the seasons. The thing with Survivor is those phenomenal seasons are extra great because a lot of them have returning players, but you can't appreciate the returning players if you never saw them play the first time. This is Bellamy. He's very cuddly. He just woke up. Hi. Can you say hi to everybody? He's an Aussie Doodle, and he's almost 6 months old. He's very energetic. He's very curious, and he loves doing tricks, right? My good boy. Favorite podcasts. I love a lot of podcasts, but my favorite is Millennial. I've grown to really love Armchair Expert over quarantine. I've been listening to that. It's Dax Shepard and Monica Padman. They do these like life interviews with all these different celebrities and experts and such, and I just have had the most fun listening to all random episodes over the quarantine. When did you know you wanted to be a writer? I wanted to be a writer, and then I was kind of manipulated to think that I couldn't be one, so I didn't even consider it again until I was in college. But in 2nd grade, my Nana and Papa got Microsoft Word on their computer. I was so excited to write my own story. And I started this story about a girl named Sophia. I have no idea what the fuck it was about. I wish I had that document, but every time I'd go to their house, I'd go into their basement and I would work on this story on Microsoft Word. And Microsoft Word was such a cool thing. We didn't have it on our computer. We didn't have something to use to type stuff up. We had this weird, like, built into the computer program that typed stuff up, and it sucked. When I'd go to my friend Jenna's house, we'd have her mom, like, type up our stories. Jenna and I used to write stories together at sleepovers in 3rd and 4th and 5th grade. Like, I always loved writing. I thought it was so fun. I thought it was so cool that I could put a story down on paper, and then we could read it and share it. So I think I'm tracing it back to 2nd grade. And somewhere along the lines, I began to believe that wasn't something that I would ever be able to do as a job. So I switched gears and was undecided until high school, when I had to start looking at colleges and I had to pick a major, and then I had to reassess again. When I graduated high school and was getting ready to go into college, I wanted to be a director or an editor, and I wanted to direct or edit music videos at that time. Again, I kept putting these restrictions on myself because I was like, I'll never be capable of directing like a whole movie. I'll never be capable of writing a whole book. Like, that's what my brain said to me. Don't ever tell yourself that. You can write a whole book. You can. You can direct a whole movie. You can. You can write a whole movie. You can. You can do it. Does Bellamy like to read? Do you like to read? What do you think? You like Mom's book? That's Mom's book. Do you like it? What do you think? Did you know it was a New York Times bestseller? Does that make you want to read it? Oh, good boy. Yeah. Wait, don't eat it. No eating. Oh, don't eat it. Bellamy, don't eat it. Don't eat it. You don't eat books. You read them. No. No. Okay. Sit. Whoa. This book's called Stay. Good. Stay. No eating. Stay. Sit. This book's called Again But Better. It was written before you were born. Oh, sit. Stay. Okay. This book's called Again But... Oh, sit. Stay. This book is called Again But Better. Mommy wrote it before you were born. Can you... Okay. 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 Do you miss sleep? Yes, I do. And I didn't know I was never gonna get 8 hours of sleep. Okay. I haven't gotten 8 consecutive hours of sleep since I got my dog. I know that someday he'll be able to go to sleep when I go to sleep, but right now he has to go to bed at 10 or else I can't get anything done. I get 6.5 hours and then I go back to sleep. He gives me 1 more hour sometimes. You take a full 8 hours for granted. And I can't imagine being a mom because little kids get up at like 6 a.m. What is a full night of sleep? Do you want a tattoo? What would it be? I'm one of those people that has absolutely no desire to get a tattoo. I never have. I don't think I ever will. Top 5 film scores. Pirates of the Caribbean is always gonna be like my favorite film score of all time. Every song from every Pirates film is my everything. And then also Inception, How to Train Your Dragon, and Titanic. Do you have any advice for your early 20s? Yes, I have a shitload. I poured it all into this book. It's available now. It's called Again But Better. The paperback is up for pre-order. It's coming out April 6th and it has an extra chapter and a pink cover. The link for that is in the description if you want that version. What was the last song you listened to? Prisoner, that new Miley Cyrus Dua Lipa song. If you could match Rory Gilmore's relationships to Taylor Swift songs, what would they be? Dean, Teardrops on My Guitar. Jess, All Too Well. Logan, Red. Logan is Red. Logan is I Knew You Were Trouble. Logan is so many Taylor Swift songs. Which characters from the Shadowhunter world would your characters in your books be? Shane, Tessa Gray. Pilot, Will Herondale. Babe, Cordelia Carstairs. Jamie from Better Together is translating as Chase. Siri from Better Together is translating as Alex. Skincare routine, question mark? I start out with Burt's Bees cleansing oil. I've tried a bunch of cleansing oils to get my makeup off and this is by far the best one. I like massage this into my face using face massage, which is supposed to be really good for like your face. And then I use water and like massage the water and all the makeup melts off. Then I use my Neutrogena sensitive skin face wash. Then I use this. This is probably the fanciest product I use. And that is the Peter Thomas Roth water drench thing. And Olivia introduced it to me like 5 years ago and I've been using it since. I switched out of it for a little bit and my skin got redder. So I went back to it and then I used Belief Moisture Bomb. For my under eyes, this came from my dermatologist. I just put some Vaseline on a Q-tip and I go under my eyes and over my eyelid with it. Curious about the ring you always wear. Is there a story? It's not even on me right now because when he was really baby, he was eating it all the time, so I took it off. Okay, I fetched it. I've been wearing this ring since high school. My mom gave them to both me and my sister as like sister rings, and Olivia never wears hers, but I haven't taken mine off in years. And actually, I wore it through cheerleading, and at one point, it got bent from doing like back handsprings and shit, and it was just like stuck on my finger in a weird position, like it was oval and screwed up, so I had to go to the jeweler and they had to saw it off my finger and weld it back together in the right shape. Like, it's been through a lot. This first time I took it off for a significant period of time has been these past couple months with Bellamy because he kept attacking my finger. So they're supposed to be sister rings, but in typical Olivia fashion, she never participated, so this is my sister ring. I'm a sister, and that's what this represents to me. I'm an older sister. How are you doing with all the changes this year? What is keeping you feeling positive? I'm struggling just like we all are. This year has been a roller coaster of like intense anxiety and sadness. What's keeping me feeling positive is the little trickles of good news we've been getting in the past couple weeks. Promising vaccine stuff. My book has been keeping me going. These deadlines have been keeping me going. Therapy has been keeping me going. My dog now is keeping me like literally going. I get 2 hours to myself at most before we've got some playing or walks or feeding to do. And in some ways, having someone to take care of, and by someone I mean my dog, gets you out of that anxiety bubble because you're thinking about that, what they need. It helps in some ways. It's stressful in other ways, you know, but it balances out. I honestly think it's helped a lot of my hypochondriac anxiety that I've had throughout the months, and then I got him and I just so focused on that I'm not thinking about that stuff with me at all. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is this like a job interview or like... I don't know. Does Olivia still text asking you to like her Instagram? She doesn't text asking me to like her Instagram. She texts me like 30 photos and she's like, which one should I Instagram? And it's me and my 2 cousins, Caroline and Holly. They'll answer and I usually won't. And she'll text a million times asking me to answer. I finally will. And then she won't post the picture that I voted for. So what was my point here? Would you ever want to write in any other genres, or do you think you're just gonna stick to contemporary? I got this question way more than I liked seeing this question. Like, I don't know if you're hating on contemporary contemporary or what? I'm writing what I want to write. I'm not like, I want to write contemporary. I'm like, I want to write this story that came into my head. And those stories have not been fantasy novels. And if I had a story that I really wanted to write, I would write it. But right now, the stories that are coming out of me that I want to write happen to not be high fantasy or urban fantasy. They're contemporary with a dash of magic, which is my favorite. Like, I write what I want to read right now, and that's what I want to read right now. I haven't been in a place where I'm really craving fantasy for a couple years, so I'm not writing it, but who knows what will happen in the future. Like, I'm not putting a box on my writing in any way, shape, or form. I'm not like, I only write in this vein. I'm writing what I want to write. If there comes a time where I want to write fantasy, I'll write it. Is writing/YouTube your full-time job? Yes, it is. YouTube is like 3 full-time jobs in itself if you're full-time YouTubing. Doing them both together is overwhelming, and I'm still trying to find my footing. How has it been having to create and maintain a schedule instead of having a given 9 to 5? I'm pretty disciplined with all that, so I really like creating my own schedule and living by my own hours. I will just work for like giant chunks of time, and then I'll take a day off, and then just work for giant chunks of time. But I like that because I love what I'm doing, so it's a give and take there. Now though, with Bellamy, it's been completely different because I have a schedule. Like, I have his schedule, and I have to work around that. So he's like another part-time job, and then there's writing, and then there's YouTubing, and juggling them all has been the struggle of quarantine for me. Like, I thought I was struggling when I had all those deadlines, and I was just like anxious AF from everything going on in the world, and then he came into the picture, and I was like, whoa! Now I have to start like relegating my time stricter in terms of like when I write. I have these 2 hours, and you have to write during these 2 hours every day. When I film now, I have to film during this 4-hour chunk in the morning, and that's all I can really do right now until he gets a little bit older and I don't have to do as intense puppy sitting as I do right now. I obviously can work on another person's schedule. I've done it before, but I knew while I was doing that I wanted to do my own. Like, I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to create my own schedule. It depends how you work best. So some people do work best having a 9 to 5 and having a set schedule and be able to go home and relax, because I don't really have that unless I like assign myself relaxation time, and it's hard to remember to do that. But I'm okay with it. I've gotten used to it. I've been doing it for a long time now. I've been doing it's so crazy to believe that I've been doing this full-time YouTubing working on my own schedule for almost 7 years now. I'm so grateful and thankful that I've been able to do that. It's a lot of adjusting to the stuff that comes into your life too, because if you're working from home stuff is gonna come up all the time. Like, when I live with my mom and my siblings, like, I would have to work around their schedule in the house because you can't film when they're around or when they're making noise or when the stupid TV's on when your brother's playing video games. Like, when I moved to California, my voice went crazy, and so I couldn't film more than 1 video in a day. That's what I have to do now. I have to stop every 10 minutes and take a 5-minute break, so it really limits when I can film and how much I can film and how I schedule out my filming. You just gotta adjust and be disciplined about your scheduling. That's that working from home life. You've all probably gotten a dose of it over the past 9 months. Like, it's hard. It's especially hard when there's a pandemic going on and the world's on fire. And as you get older and you take on like more adult responsibilities, not because you want to, but a lot of the time just like happens, it gets harder. But if you've been doing it for a while, you're used to it, and you keep rolling. You keep going. You adjust. That's what I'm trying to do right now with these videos. So I've been just doing a week of filming. Usually I'll film, edit, post, start over again. But right now, it's just not working for me with writing and dog and all different things that are happening in the world. Like, I need to just film for a week, and then I'm gonna just work on editing and posting. And with any online job, you have to keep up your Instagram. You have to have Twitter, and for Instagram, like, content takes way longer than you want it to, and you have to look pretty. Everything takes time, and everything is its own mini job within the job. Like, even authoring, you have to like promote your book. You have to make sure you're talking about it enough that your audience knows it's coming. Just so you know, my new book, Better Together, comes out June 1st, 2021, and it's available for pre-order now. If you haven't yet, the link's in the description. Thank you. Any plans for a 3rd book? Yes, of course. My contract right now is actually a 2-book contract. I have been pondering a 3rd book for quite a few months now, but I haven't put down words and put down an outline. I've just been letting it soup around in my mind because I've been working on Better Together. But the time has come where I'm gonna have to start putting down some words, thinking deeper, and fleshing out new characters, and I'm excited for that. Would you rather be an underwater cat or a flying dog? Is that even a question? Like, who wants to be an underwater cat? That's like choosing to be Aquaman instead of Superman. Well, who would do that? I would choose flying dog any day. I want to fly. I have dreams about flying all the time, and then I wake up and I realize I can't fly. Are the sisters in Better Together air, water, fire, or earthbenders? So I can't be 100% sure because I feel like I need to watch Avatar more than once through to really get a grasp on the personality traits that come with air, water, fire, and earth. But I'm pretty sure Siri would be a waterbender and Jamie would be an earthbender. not 100% sure. So once you read the book, you can tell me. Better Together, available for pre-order now. It comes out June 1st, 2021. The link to pre-order is at the top of the description. If you're interested, I'd really, really appreciate you doing so. It means so much to me, and it really, really helps the book in the long run. Thank you so much if you already have. What do you start with when you're working on a new novel? The plot or the characters? I don't start with the plot or the characters. I start with a concept. With Again But Better, it was study abroad novel that takes place in London. Go from there. With Better Together, it was Parent Trap with sisters who are older. What does that look like? And then from there, I shift to the characters. Yoga poses the ab characters would be. I'm thinking for Shane, she starts in gorilla pose. There you go. And then slowly but surely opens into camel. Pilot is like tree pose. Pilot's like, he starts in tree pose like this with his hands behind his back, and then eventually grows his branches until he's like this. Yeah, it's deep. I know. Do you have your own stylist for special events? This question made me laugh. Like, I would have a stylist. No, I don't. I style myself, thank you. I send pictures to my mom and get her opinion, and I send pictures to Natasha and get her opinion, and then I make my decision and go forward with it. But I just basically go online shopping and order a bunch of stuff that I think would look cool, and then I return the stuff that doesn't look cool once it comes in the mail, and then I wear those things. Thank you, Belle. Thank you for that compliment. Taylor Swift song for Bellamy. I am really not sure. Are you trying to find a place in this world? Oh, big yawn. You think you're trying to find a place in this world? You know what you probably are? I did something bad? Why does it feel so good in the most literal sense? I did something bad, but why does it feel so good? Is that you? I think that's you eating Mom's books. Yep. That wraps up the 2020 Q&A. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. I am at Xtinemay on Twitter and Instagram. My new book, Better Together, comes out June 1st, 2021, and it is available for pre-order now. The link is at the top of the description. If you're interested, please consider pre-ordering. Thanks for sending in your questions. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. You're really just being shy, huh? Being camera shy.